Hey, MCARBO Brotherhood. Today we're going to talk about the Mossberg 702 Plinkster. We're going to do a disassembly, cleaning, and then a reassembly. If you don't know what I'm talking about, MCARBO Brotherhood, go ahead and check out www.mcarbo.com. You can see how it's spelled right there. Look, I just want to show you what you might need. This isn't required, but it could help. A couple 2x4 blocks, hammer. I've got 2 punches here, kind of like a desk pick, cleaning tool. This works, kind of help get those little pieces in place that don't want to cooperate. Here's a little flathead screwdriver, any size will work. And then here's a Phillips head with a fat bit. Now let's make sure this rifle's clear. As you see, we got the magazine in there. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure the weapon's on safe. It's on safe. We're going to remove the magazine. So let's pull the bolt back, lock it, and now let's check. So check the chamber. Alright, it's clear. Check the bolt face, and then check the magazine well. All 3 positions are. Now let's start with pulling these 2 bolts out right here. This will separate the receiver from the stock. And you want to have a good fitting screwdriver for this, otherwise you could chance stripping the heads on these bolts, and then it just makes disassembly in the future more of a pain. So don't rush yourself. Find the right equipment before you start taking this stuff apart. Alright, so next thing, you just push down on this plastic trigger guard, and that'll just separate both of them nicely. So as you can see, the receiver here and the trigger assembly and the barrel all in one piece. What we'll do is remove these 2 pins next. This will separate the trigger assembly from the receiver. Alright, so we've got our crimped end down. Alright, you don't need to go all the way out. Just enough. So you'll see the pins, they'll stay right here, and that'll be enough to get this trigger assembly out. Pull it out gently, being aware that that spring is in there. So see that helps right there. You'll notice that this that your bolt charging handle, that'll fall out. They all typically do in these 22s, but there will be that little notch there where the bolt handle was, and I just took my flathead and just kind of pried it back, and that really made the difference right there. So continue to pry it back and get your finger on it and slide it all out. Okay, let me show you. You slide it all out. See that spring in there? And it's all one unit. The bolt, trigger assembly, it's all going to come out nicely. Okay, that's what you want to avoid damaging. Here it is. So didn't damage it. It's good. This is your plastic buffer. This thing just... Here's your bolt. And that's the hole there where the spring's going to go in. Here's your trigger assembly. So in another video for the MCARBO trigger spring kit for the Mossberg 702 Plinkster, we'll go into tearing this piece apart. But for right now, since it's just a disassembly, cleaning, reassembly video, we're not going to go into that. So this is as far as we're going to go. So you got your trigger assembly right here. You've got your bolt. You've got your buffer. You've got your spring, recoil spring, and your charging handle, and your receiver. My cleaning kit right here. It's just a Ziploc bag with a few shop towels in it, rags, t-shirts, doesn't matter, whatever you want to use. A bore snake, I would highly recommend getting one of these. I think they're about 10 to 15 bucks, maybe 20. Just find them anywhere online. And a toothbrush, this is awesome, this is critical. It really makes life easy getting stuff out of those little crevices, and can't go wrong with some of these little cotton swabs. So as you can see, this is a really inexpensive. Here's some CLP and a little dropper right there. Really inexpensive cleaning kit, and that's all you need. You don't need to go out and buy some fancy cleaning kit. And honestly, I'd recommend a bore snake any day, because you're not going to mess up the rifling in the barrel. That's a big thing. Some of the cleaning kits out there, they've got a steel rod. When you're jamming that rod down this barrel, you chance nicking some of that rifling and doing some damage. And that's the last thing you want to do. I mean, you're cleaning your rifle to hopefully prevent damage, preventative maintenance. Oil, a little fancier. I like it because it's in a spray can. So what we'll do is spray inside the receiver here. This is what I like about this can. You can just, hit that real easily. And just take your rag and rub it around really good. Get out any of that dirt. Be careful of this little guide rod in here. You don't want to damage that or bend that. Okay. And if you needed to, you could get cotton swabs and get those little crevices, up around here. Okay. And it doesn't hurt. Take a little this oil, spray it down the barrel. That's another reason I like to spray. And then with the snake, or with whatever you got with a rod, these bristles are actually built into the snake here. You got the bristles there. But on the rod, you'll have that little bristly wire brush. You always want to push it the direction the bullet goes. So the proper direction that the bullet travels, that's how you want to run your snake. You don't want to rub it back and forth. All right. So the snake's really easy. You just feed it in here like so, and wait for it to come out the other end, and you just yank it right through. Snake, just pull it right through. Alright, put that aside for now. Alright, then we'll take our bolt. Clean that up. Spray it down. That's what I love about this spray. And get all these little crevices. This is what the toothbrush is for. It makes good use of it. And you don't have to spend all day cleaning. It just depends how dirty it is. But I mean, you might as well do a fairly good job. You got it broken down to this degree. Alright, so attention to detail is key here. Oh yeah, see that? Just be careful not to get any of that cotton stuff stuck down in there. Okay. Alright. Your springs, different things, depending on how dirty they are. You hit them with some CLP, some of this spray. Rub them down. Hit them with the toothbrush. A little plastic buffer here. Whatever, you can just hit it with some spray. You can just run the toothbrush over it real quick. Just get all the dirt, all that junk off there. There's your charging handle. One big thing though, don't overdo the CLP, the lubricant on your firearm. Thing, dirt will stick to oil too. So if you've got this whole casing coated in oil, it'll be pretty dirty next time you come in here. And there's no reason to have lubricant on plastic. So option A, like I said, is spray a sparing amount. If it's really dirty, you might as well. But considering this one's not too dirty, I'm just going to put some on the end of this Q-tip here, and I'm just going to kind of go in there and strategically clean it with some oil, kind of just rub some of the dirt off. I know this isn't that thorough, or it doesn't seem that thorough, but this is as far as you likely want to break it down if you're just field stripping it to do a cleaning, unless you're putting the trigger spring kit in, which will be in another video, the MCARBO trigger spring kit for this firearm, which is available on our website, www.mcarbo.com. It'll reduce the trigger pull, improve reliability, improve accuracy, the whole 9 yards. Because that lighter trigger pull, you're less likely to jerk, you're less likely to tug on it, and get a nice smooth trigger pull. You're not going to have that, not going to have as much of that creep, and you're not going to have that big, you know how you start pulling on the trigger, you take some of that slack out, and then you get to this point, it's like, man, is safety still on? Because look, the trigger, the hammer hadn't even gone off yet. And I get to this point, is safety still on? Huh? Maybe, maybe. And then all of a sudden, finally, it goes off. With the actual MCARBO trigger spring kit in there, you won't have that. And this one's stock. We haven't put it in yet. We haven't done the video yet. So the video will be next. So stay tuned for that. Alright, so that concludes cleaning. Okay, start with your receiver. Make sure this little guide rod's back in. You can see it's kind of got these little notches here on this guide rod, so it's sort of a pain to get lined up at this angle. And then you got to push that collar. You saw that collar, you got to push that collar back in. Hold it in there. So it's one of those things, I mean, if you can avoid removing it, whatever, might make it a little bit faster putting it back in. Alright, so bolt, charging handle, that's how it goes on. Okay, just lays on there real easy, real simple. We're going to wait and put that charging handle on last. Alright, but go ahead and put your spring, recoil spring, inside the bolt, like so. You'll notice here, so this all has to happen at once, so you'll notice here there's this little tab that holds the actual bolt to trigger assembly. So it just slides on like so. Come up like this, just come up, get it on the track and push down. Now I'm in there. Okay, so all one piece. Alright, look good. Now, keeping it together, slide it onto that, slide that spring onto that guide rod. There you go. It may take a little finesse to get it in there. And then push on the bolt. See how we got it in there? Now this is, be careful, you don't want to bind it. So, you know, finesse it, delicately push on it, take your screwdriver to give you a little leverage. Kind of get your finger in there to kind of gently, see how I've got it, my finger's in here to gently, it's just to reduce that angle. You don't want a sharp angle on that spring, and you don't want to be pushing backward, that's when you'll kink it. So keep your finger in here to kind of guide it, and once everything's going down together, you can start moving your finger out of there. But this is where you're doing all your pushing from the front here, and you're just guiding with your index finger down. Okay, so it's in there nicely, but we forgot a couple things intentionally, just because it's easier to put them in at the end. So the buffer and this, I like to put in at the end, just because of this reason right here. The buffer simply, it goes in like this. It just follows the shape of the receiver. See that? That's downward angle right there. Alright, drops right in. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just tap this pin in, actually. Make sure that all stays in place. Partially tap it in. Now I'm going to come over here, take my screwdriver, just pry up a little bit. Get the charging handle in there. Take the screwdriver and kind of push down on this end. There you go. So it can be a little stiff. Got to give a little push. There we go. So we got charging handle back in, the buffer back in, and now we just need to tap in the pins. Take the blocks, handy. There you go. Make sure they're flush. Okay. So it's all back together, at least the receiver, the trigger assembly, barrel piece, all together. It's nice and clean. Now let's put it back in the stock. So set it in nicely. Make sure it goes in evenly. And it just kind of compresses in there. Simple as that. Put our bolts in. You'll notice these are both same size, so it doesn't matter. Just set them both in. And tighten them up. Just kind of get one side hand tight, and then get the other side hand tight so that you put them in evenly. It's always good practice. You never want to torque one end completely down and then the other just hanging free. So then we'll torque this end down, and we'll torque this end down. And this is where it really matters, having the right screwdriver tip. You don't want to have it too small and it strip these out. That's how you disassemble, clean, and reassemble the Mossberg 702 Plinkster. And if you want to check out the MCARBO website, we've got a trigger spring kit to reduce the trigger pull for the Mossberg 702 Plinkster. Quite a benefit for accuracy improvement, reliability improvement of the firearm, because it's made of a higher quality spring steel. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to hearing from you.